Chapter 369, Divine Land of Eastern Region, Flaming Red Crow Prince. This chapter is updated by Novels.pl. The Divine Land of Eastern Region is a place where people with unusual ability are to be found, talents come forth in large numbers, and many holy schools are located. Here, if warriors can't become saints, there will always be non-entities. Lei Jing signed again. So you must keep a low profile this time when you go to the Divine Land of Eastern Region, because it is much more difficult than you expect to enter Saint Academy. Of course, you are all lucky to get one drop of dragon's blood from the predecessor Golden Dragon. And because of that, you all have a great chance to get into the Saint Academy. Lei Jing's words made his point very clear. He meant that if you did not get a drop of Golden Dragon, you would not be able to get into the Saint Academy. Dream on. Recently, Duan Mook Singerling, Seek Singkong, and Chang Kiki were all refining dragon's blood and had made great progress. There was a slight dragon chi emitting from their bodies as they just sat there. Their bones grew dragon lines and even their spirit had gone through a dramatic change as well. Although they could not become virtuous and talented people, they had already been called rare and precious persons. Those who were not aware of the situation thought that they were outstanding descendants raised by powerful saint families. Zhang Yuochen's progress was obviously greater than theirs. However, Zhang Yuochen's great spiritual power could hide his aura perfectly, giving people a feeling of plainness and simpleness instead. Even Lei Jing was unable to perceive his true strength. The Divine Land of the Eastern Region was indeed vast in terrain. It was as if it was endless. Even flying for half a month at the speed of a dragon eagle, one could only reach the edge of the Divine Land of Eastern Region. It was still very far from their destination, East Region Saint City. The so-called Divine Land of Eastern Region covered 70% of the area of the Eastern Region. It was also the most prosperous place, with sacred mountains and suzerains everywhere. It was unknown how many years humans have reproduced here, leaving many sacred and historical sites. Everyone continued refining dragon's blood and tried their best to increase their strength before the Saint Academy's examination. Zhang Yuochen was practicing the 5 yang-natured sword ripples of the 10 channels. With his spiritual power, martial technique practicing was very quick. After half a month's practice, he had already practiced Sun Meridian Ripple, Void Meridian Ripple, Middle Breaking Sword Wave and Heavenly Meridian Ripple into the Succeed realm. At present, only the Show's Pulse Sword Wave was still in small success realm. Although the Sword Ripple of 10 channels was only a spiritual stage superior class martial technique, if one practiced all 10 channels to the success, 10 of their fingers would be linked up and their power would be increased greatly. They would then possess the power of a martial technique at the inferior class of the ghost level. Even for warriors in the fish dragon realm, if their martial techniques could reach the inferior class of ghost level, then they could immediately become masters in the fish dragon realm. It would be as difficult as to climb up into the sky for warriors in the earth realm and the heaven realm if they wanted to learn the martial technique of inferior class of ghost level. There are exceptions, of course, for example, Di and the 7 Kills Emissary. However, there were very few of top talents in the entire Eastern Region. The Dragon Eagle had been flying for about 3 days and had completely entered the Divine Land of Eastern Region. At dusk, there was this red sea of fire in the sky. Its magnificent color gave a feeling of breathtaking beauty. At the very beginning, everyone had not felt anything, just thinking that it was just the setting sun. However, as it got closer and closer, the color of the sea of fire became brighter and brighter. Furthermore, they could see lightning and hear the thunder in sea of fire. Streaks of giant genuine chi waves rushed toward the dragon eagle like water waves. Giant genuine chi waves contained a huge amount of heat. Luckily, Lei Jing released his genuine chi at the first moment and held back the impact of the giant genuine chi waves. Lei Jing widened his eyes. He suddenly stood up and said, "Everyone, be careful. Human warriors and savage beasts are fighting with each other in front." Lei Jing did not need to say more. They had all stood up one by one and had already seen the scene in the Sea of Fire. In the middle of the Sea of Fire, there was a big silver boat floating in it. It was larger than the Red Spider vessel. It was obviously a top flying type. Genuine martial arms. Thousands of fire crows with 3 legs surrounded the big silver boat. They kept attacking the defense strategy of the big silver boat, making banging sound. They are level 3 superior class savage beasts, Flaming Red Crow. There are actually thousands of them. That's terrifying. Chankiki's expression became a bit pale. The fighting capacity of a savage beast of the superior class in the 3rd level was almost the same as the strength of warriors in the completion of the Earth realm. Thousands of level 3 superior class savage beasts were thousands of warriors in the completion of the Earth realm. One could imagine how terrifying the savage beasts were. No wonder the sky within 50 miles was lit up by the fire. Even the ground had already turned into a flaming fire. The Flaming Red Crow had the blood of a golden crow, which was a mythical bird in ancient times. So, even if Flaming Red Crow was a level 3 savage beast with the blood of the mythical bird, as long as they practiced hard, they could change and grow, having the chance to turn into level 4, level 5, or even level 6 or level 7 savage beasts. The offspring of mythical beasts and mythical birds has no limit with their growth and had infinite potential. Of course, there were very few savage beasts that could change, which was 1 in a million. The higher level it got, the harder it would be. Bam! At this very moment, a golden light broke open the cloud. A scorching sun actually appeared in the sky. It was already dusk, yet suddenly, the sun rode high in the sky. Time seemed to go backward, becoming noon again. All the warriors on the silver giant boat had a surprised expression. A young student shouted, "Look, there are 2 suns in the sky. One is going to sink over the horizon, and the other one is hung above us." How could this odd scene happen? Also on the silver giant boat, an elder in golden martial robe raised his head and looked. His expression changed greatly. He said, "It is not the sun but a Flaming Red Crow Prince, which is a 5th level superior class savage beast." The elder in golden robes seemed to be 60 years old, with his hair being white and his complexion like a child's, which gave a feeling of fierceness and power. His name was Yunlu, whose cultivation had already reached the fish dragon realm. Originally, even if there were thousands of flaming red crows, with Yunlu's strength and the defense strategy of the Sylvan Moon ship, he could still deal with them. Flaming Red Crow Prince's presence made his heart sink. He knew very well that the defense array of the Sylvan Moon ship could not possibly hold back the Flaming Red Crow Prince. Once the array was broken, with his strength, could he fight with the Flaming Red Crow Prince? He would probably be killed by the Flaming Red Crow Prince within 3 attacks at most. The disparity was too wide. What should he do now? Yunlu was worried like an ant on a hot pot. He had brought 37 God's favored sons and God's favored daughters from the school of the Martial Market of South Cloud Commandery and headed to East Region Saint City, to attend the Cent Academy's exam. When he left South Cloud Commandery, he had already promised Palace Master that he could safely bring these young geniuses to the Saint Academy. No one could ever have expected that they would come across many flaming red crows on their way and an annoyed Flaming Red Crow Prince. With his strength, even if he could not defeat the Flaming Red Crow Prince, he was still confident that he could safely escape. But what about the 37 young geniuses of the School of the Martial Market who have been carefully nurtured? Everyone's background was unusual. Some had the background of big families and great suzerains. They were not just genius students. If they all died here, even if Yunlu got back, he would probably be severely punished. His cultivation would be decreased by half even if it was a light punishment. He would be forbidden from cultivating for life if it was a heavy punishment. Why do I have such a bad luck? Sweat beads gathered on Yunlu's forehead. He was thinking about the countermeasures. However, what he could think of was of no use when he was faced with the Flaming Red Crow Prince's absolute strength. He thought it was just a simple task to send dozens of geniuses to East Region Saint City. With the influence of Martial Market Bank, who dared to provoke them? What kind of dangers could he meet? However, he, unfortunately, came across the Flaming Red Crow Prince. At this time, the golden sun on the Sylvan Moon ship fell from above and let out a sharp cry. If one looked carefully, one could see that there was a giant golden fire crow inside the golden fireball, which was almost exactly the same as the mythical golden crow. The Flaming Red Crow Prince began the attack. Golden giant claws suddenly attacked the defensive light screen of the Sylvan Moon ship, which became dented. Ripples spread out on the light screen. The two powers clashed together, forming golden fire rain which flew in all directions. Bam! In the time it took to take 3 breaths, the defensive light screen of the Silver Moon ship was smashed by the flaming red crow prince and exposed itself completely. Thousands of flaming red crows got excited and flew over, attacking the students of the School of the Martial Market on the Silver Moon ship. Bang! Bang! The students on the Silver Moon ship were all in the Heaven Realm. And although they had high cultivation and outstanding talent, they were no match for the numerous flaming red crows. Other than the flaming red crow prince and thousands of flaming red crows, there were a few flaming red crows that were 4th level savage beasts. Each one had the strength of a warrior in the Heaven Realm. Those genius students fell into despair. Some of God's favored daughters who lacked practical experience were very scared. They could not help but walk toward a young man with the most powerful cultivation. The young man was called Zihanshaw and looked to be in his 20s. He was very handsome with straight eyebrows and star-like eyes. Even as he faced Flaming Red Crow, he did not frown at all and took the initiative to attack. He was the first superior among the young generation of School of the Martial Market of South Cloud Commandery. He was also the eldest brother and had once reached top 100 on the Earth board. Of course, he had long reached the Heaven Realm. Now his cultivation was unfathomable. Most of the gods' favored daughters thought of him as their idol and adored his strength very much. When they met danger, they certainly could not help but walk toward him, hoping to get his protection. At present, Elder he was dealing with the Red Crow Prince, and could not be in 2 places at once. They could only put their hope in the eldest brother Zihanshaw. The moment the protecting light screen of the Silver Moon ship was broken, Lei Jing finally saw the logo of School of the Martial Market printed on the boat. So he said, "They are from the School of the Martial Market. Zhang Yuochen, you come with me to rescue and help them." With these words, Lei Jing's robe flew up and he applied the martial technique of bodily movement of flying over the galaxy. He flew toward the Sea of Fire first, directly attacking the flaming Red Crow Prince. Following that, Zhang Yuochen applied bodily movement of the shadow of the Royal Wind Dragon. The genuine chi emitted from his body and formed an illusory image of a flying dragon. It rushed toward the Silver Moon ship,